and I'm applauding because the Vancouver Canucks won tonight 7-3 in an absolute beatdown over the San Jose Sharks in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. And yes, most of the time I don't come on here after every single win and boast and brag, because you know what, it's just one win, and when you're trying to win 16 games, I ain't going to get too worked up until the cup is actually hoisted. The actual applause is in regards to Ben Eager, because I'm very happy for this man providing the entertainment value that he did for all the Vancouver Canucks fans, and furthermore being an extreme assistance to us winning this hockey game due to his absolute stupid hockey play. This guy's an imbecile. He is pathetic, and he is a joke. It's absolutely comical how the coach of the San Jose Sharks, Todd McClellan, continued to play this guy when his emotions got the best of him. And this all went back to the second period when he had that cheap hit on Sedin on the boards. It only resulted in a 2-minute power play. It probably should have been 5 minutes. He got away with it. You would think that in the locker room the coach would have an opportunity to speak to him between periods, calm him down, and say, you know what, Eager, you're known for taking bad penalties in the past, and you're not a great offensive player, and if you're not going to be a pest and contribute that way by getting other players to get off their game, you're really going to have to be controlling your emotions, something that he clearly didn't do. You could see him just breaking down on the bench. Who was he talking to? It seemed like he was he talking to some demons or ghosts, because there clearly were no Vancouver Canuck players that were responding or even looking in his direction when he was sitting at the end of the bench getting all worked up after Marleau fought Bieksa, and everyone wants to get mad at Bieksa for fighting all these fights and saying all these things about him. He's not a tough guy and this kind of crap. What do people want from Bieksa? Marleau was the one that drew him into the fight. He was the one that immediately dropped his gloves. Is Bieksa supposed to look the other way? It's not his fault that he's tougher and he decided to rip Marleau's helmet off and beat the crap out of him. We'll leave that alone and get back to this idiot Ben Eager here, who I believe has no place in the NHL. You can see the fact that he came out and he completely hurt his hockey team. He took another dumb tripping penalty on Eager took another dumb tripping penalty on Mason Raymond that led to the goal that made it 4-2, which pretty much iced the game because he knew San Jose wasn't generating any more offense, and he would take another penalty later on in the period. You could just see when he was on the ice, his only intention was try to hurt other people and rough them up and play a cheap style of hockey. He does not have the offensive skill to be a consistent contributor, so the only way he can be effective in the league is being a pest like he is. But you know what? When you aren't getting the other people thrown off their game and you're trying to throw out some bait and hook them in and it's not working, you're an absolute failure, Ben Eager, because all you're doing is hurting your own hockey team. And it's just absolutely hilarious how your own coach doesn't even recognize that and continues to put you out on the ice. And then even after the game, when you listen to post-game interviews, McClellan, he's not even considering scratching him for next game. He believes he's going to be ready to play next game. I think it's just absolute comedy the way Vancouver is getting breaks from this guy because he's such a fool and he can't control himself. And then you see him at the end of the game, he scores his cheap little goal, and he's going like this and pumping, and not even anybody from his own team went to congratulate him. They must have been looking at him like, who is this gooner? I can't believe it. I'm sure the players on San Jose can't be too fond of his actions, because every time they think they have a chance to get back in the game, it's his stupid play that ends up costing the team. And I understand that it's a team game, but when you're a fourth liner that has a very limited role and you consistently let the players down, it's really got to weigh on them psychologically. And then he would go on and say some stupid stuff to Luongo when he was down. I mean, what is he chirping for? The bottom line is this: Vancouver kicked your ass, San Jose, and you were part of the reason, Ben Eager. And if you want to tell Luongo about getting in his head, Chicago, this and that from the years past, what about worrying about yourself and putting on a better performance? You're not going to fake out Luongo. You're not going to get in his head and his psyche. If anything, Vancouver's gotten into yours, because your attempt to throw them off their game has completely backfired in your face. This translated into everything that we saw in the post-game interviews from the players. You could just see the demeanor of the Canucks, calm, cool, collective, saying, oh, we're not going to comment anything there, we're just going to play their game, it's a series, we don't know what they're thinking in their heads. And then on the other side, you have San Jose players like Ryan Clough coming out and saying that Maxime Lapierre is not a tough guy and he ran away from a fight. What was his little hand motion? And I remember playing him back in juniors and he wouldn't fight people then. Well, you know what, Ryan Clough, maybe Maxime Lapierre is playing fantastic hockey right now and he knows that he doesn't need to be a fighter to be effective, because he's contributing in many other ways on the ice, and yourself, who's supposed to be a goal scorer, is not. So now you want to call him out for not fighting you. Well, guess what? It led to you taking an instigator penalty, and the Canucks benefit once again, and you're your little game plan isn't working, and that's why you're upset. And you think those comments were absurd? What about this moron, Ben Eager? What did he say after the game? He would go out and decide to call out Kevin Bieksa with two particular comments. The first one stating that he is going to be grotesquely overpaid in the offseason because he's an overrated hockey player. Hold on a second. Ben Eager saying Bieksa is going to be overpaid because he's an overrated hockey player? Are you sure you're not looking at the mirror and seeing yourself, Ben Eager? Because you're overrated. You're lucky your coach, Todd McClellan, thinks you actually do something on the ice because you're useless. You're the one that's overrated. You're lucky you even get a contract to play in the NHL because Kevin Bieksa happens to be one of the best shutdown defensemen in the playoffs right now. He's one of the top plus-minus players. He's pinching up and scoring goals. He's fighting people. He's doing everything that you could ask. So if he gets a big contract, he is very deserving of it, and to me it just seems that you're a little bit jealous of that, and you know that you're a useless hockey player, you're a pest, and in the playoffs when fighting isn't as accepted as it would be in the regular season, your value diminishes even further. So why don't you shut your trap and worry about your own playing contracts instead of Kevin Bieksa's? And then you wanted to go on and say that he's not that tough of a guy, he's a poser, and he's fake and all this kind of stuff. Give me a break. What do you want from Kevin Bieksa? Are you mad that he fought your boy Patrick Marleau, who decided to drop his gloves and engage him in the fight? What was Bieksa supposed to do, turn around and look the other way? You're the fake tough guy. You're the fake little poser running around because all you do is take your little cheap shots when players aren't looking and try to slash at them and trip them. Why don't you square up with somebody and fight them if you're such a tough guy? And then you want to come and taunt in the middle of Luongo's face when your team's down 7-3? You're a joke. You're pathetic. Your life's pathetic. Your skating's pathetic. You can't score, and you're a joke to the NHL and everything to do with hockey. Chad here from InTheOT.com. Ben Eager, take a seat, and you're lucky that the only positive things surrounding you tonight were those tits that were exposed to you from that hot chick flashing you in the penalty box on your final penalty of the game. And when you're looking at them, staring them on, you're probably thinking, oh, it must be me, I'm so hot, I'm so conceited, I'm sure I could get this girl. Nah, she was just teasing you, because that's the only thing that you could get, is 20 feet away, hopefully touching something like that, because you are a joke.